everyone. This is Chris Breen. You're watching the Talent Around Us podcast with Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people? Episode number 2 of my own little podcast, the Talent Around Us. If you saw it last time, I had Alyssa Feudo on. This week, I got my good buddy, Mr. Chris Breen. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Pretty much for anybody watching, this podcast is for me to help promote maybe people you never heard of, but you definitely should hear of. I'm going to try to have people on from different medias, whether it be movies or music, and pretty much, try to show everyone, there is other stuff out there besides the mainstream stuff. So last week, Alyssa Feudo is more, I guess, softer type music. Chris over here, on the other hand, is the other side of the spectrum in the heavy metal music. So what got you into, I know what got you in, but what are some of the bands or some of the people that got you into, the heavier stuff or the rock and roll?
So, I started my first memory of music is probably MTV in the late 80s. So in the late 80s, you had hair metal bands, Poison, stuff like that. And then it kind of turned into, as I got older, the 90s, the grunge bands, Nirvana, stuff like that. So obviously the constant was guitar-based music, loud drums, kind of the screaming. The screaming came later as music kind of got heavier, but then I discovered Metallica, and Metallica was definitely the gateway drug for all the other stuff that was a lot heavier. Metallica gets into Pantera, and from Pantera, it was All She Wrote for me. I kind of just listened to all the heavy stuff. The guitar was always interesting to me, more complicated than pop music or your average like top 40 music. So it always kind of enticed my ear, and I was like, what is going on? I can't figure out how they're playing certain things. So that's why I decided to kind of learn guitar and kind of figure out what was happening. It was like a big puzzle, which I enjoyed figuring out.
Yeah, like I said, me and you have known each other for forever, and me on the movie side, I look at stuff and watch movies and wonder how everything goes. So I'm guessing on the music side, you hear a new song, and if you hear something you never heard before, it kind of entices you and stuff. I know personally, you practice how many hours a day, and and you just keep on going. Is that something that you might tell people? How many hours would you tell someone to, at least practice with guitars and stuff, to, if they really want to learn or enhance their craft? How many hours of practice do you think is good a day or a week?
So I think it depends on what your end goal is. Like I mentioned about the top 40. If you're looking for pop music or something with like a couple of chords, you don't have to practice all that much. It's about repetition. You definitely want to practice. A half an hour every day is good. You can get to where you want to be. If you go down that rabbit hole, it's like anything else, probably like movies. Any kind of artistic form, you can go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, and you're going to listen to more complicated styles of music. So metal music, jazz music, blues music, all that kind of stuff. If you really want to master that style, you probably do want to play a couple hours a day if you have the time. I know it's hard to say. Most people don't have that kind of time. But the more you play, the quicker you get to where you want to be.
All right. I mean, watching me, I'm a reviewer. I don't make movies, but to hone my craft and be able to, review movies, the more I watch and the more I talk and the more I practice, it definitely goes. It's not even close to music. I can't, I think anybody could review, but at that point in time, picking up a guitar, I tried to, you tried to teach me a few times, and it never fully worked out, but
takes patience, man.
yeah, definitely. Plus all the, you said practice until you get blisters and stuff and it hurts and whatever, but honing into any craft, it takes blood, sweat, and tears if you really want to reach where you're going. Some of the things I want to talk about, I'll get into. You were talking about practicing. I'll get into right at the end of this, interview. You do give guitar lessons and stuff, but you want to talk about some of your work. I mean, I know I've have all your music and stuff, but you want to let the fans know you've been in many reincarnations of different bands and stuff. What do you have out there?
Yeah, so we started out probably like any other band starts out, out of a garage. You start jamming in high school, and you get to a point where you might want to record a few songs. So we recorded basically a full album with my original band, Broken Existence. 12 songs, I believe, was the original album. So it wasn't even like we did a demo or a 3 song thing. We jumped right into a full length 12-song album back in 2004. So we were all like right in the first year of college or so. And then you could see the progression, probably again, like film or any other style of every other medium of art. The first couple of times, it's like maybe not the perfect version of what you want, but every single time you do another album or another set of songs, you can see the progression. It gets better and better. You hone it, and even the recording production gets better each time. So yeah, it started 15 years ago. I mean, I've been playing for almost 20 years, or basically 20 years, but the first album was put out 15 years ago. Now I'm in a new band called Scarsic, Scarsic. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Music. Basically, any major streaming service, you can find us. And it's the same style. It's heavy, but I think there's more eclectic influences on this project. A lot of singing on the last album, so trying to just open it up and diversify the sound as much as I can.
Uh, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can tell you got a nice little setup behind you. Throughout, you said the first album you got recorded, someone recorded it for you, and then I know personally you decided to, make your own setup and do your own thing. Do you have any advice to people who might, want to start up a recording company or make their own music and it, the ins and outs, like where to start?
Take it slow, be patient, because I figured since I was already a musician, I already played guitar. The switch over from playing the guitar to producing an album or mixing an album would be kind of an easy switch. But the more I learned, I've been doing it for about 10 years now, and it's almost like learning an instrument all over again from ground zero. It's a totally different set of challenges. I knew nothing about panning, like how you like mix certain instruments and certain sides of the speakers, compression. These are all like techniques of mixing that I had to learn by trial and error. So, we did an album, we did another album, and each time it sounded okay. But then the next album got a little better, and the next album got a little better. So just take it slow and be patient. Treat it like you're learning an instrument if you want to get into production. It's just a trial and error process.
Well, definitely. So anybody who's watching and wants to get into producing, there you go. My interviews go a little bit shorter, so you do lessons and stuff. Where can people find you to possibly reach out for lessons? Do you do any over the internet, or is it all in person kind of deals, or how does that work?
Yeah, most of my lessons are in person in like the local area, like in North Jersey area. But I do have like a handful of Skype students. So if anyone is outside of the area and wants to ask about lessons, I can definitely. I've done Skype lessons. I do Skype lessons now. So my main website is breenmusiclessons.com, and right there's like a message option on the website, so you can directly contact me, and yeah, we can always look at everyone's situation, whatever style of music you want to learn. I teach all different styles. So yeah, absolutely.
Do you find yourself learning stuff, different stuff that you didn't know before just by teaching? Like I'm guessing hearing new, forms of music. Like you said, you teach everything. I'm sure maybe there's something you never knew before just by playing certain songs?
Yeah, I feel like I know more of what's current now. You know, like I did like 10 years where I was just listening to like certain styles of music that I wanted to listen to. And then when I'm teaching, I have no choice but to kind of learn whatever the student wants to learn. So I'm more aware now of like whatever's current, you know? So that's interesting. It opens my ears up to interesting bands I never even knew were out there. So it's yeah, it's fun. It's a give and take. It's I'm teaching the student, but also the student is kind of letting me know what kind of style of music they want to learn, and it informs what I like about music as well. It changes my influences. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I know the progression hanging out with you, you went from simply metal to all these jazz and stuff, and you're like, oh, you might not like this, but you and a few other friends, you're like, oh, you just got to listen for this part and this part, and it's just, the musician side of you. It's, I guess I have some kind of, ear for music too, but not that depth. So I see your progression going from, all over the place. But like I said, I try to keep these interviews a little bit shorter. So speaking of your lessons and stuff, you want to just let everybody know, not only your music, where to find it, but also where they can find your music lessons.
Sure. Yeah. So once again, breenmusiclessons.com. I do have links to my music on the website as well. But the main project that I'm doing right now for my own music is Scarsic, which if you just search that name, Scarsic, all one word, you can find it on every major streaming site, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. So that's what I do musically right now. And then Breen Music Lessons is where you can find me if you want lessons. And occasionally I do mashups and stuff. I've done some covers and mashups for fun. I have a few more that I'm working on right now, so maybe they'll be finished, maybe in a couple of months or something. So yeah, but it's fun. It's just a fun side project that I do whenever I have free time.
And then you put those videos on your YouTube, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Which is basically just either I think it's just Breen Music is my YouTube channel.
All right. So, yeah, I thank you for coming on and joining me. Like I said, what I do this podcast for is to, there's so much talent out there that maybe people don't know because, they never heard. So word of mouth, this, smallest little video like this, could open people's eyes and ears to new stuff out there. And a lot of the times people, I know you're not that kind to just stop because you've been doing it for so long. But a lot of the times you see a lot of people with a lot of talent, but might not, catch the break that they want, and then they just stop and stop doing what they love. So this small little podcast, if I can help people out there, continue to do what they want or continue to reach a goal, that's what I'm going to try to do. Could you, doing it for so long is, was there any times you thought of stopping and just saying, maybe this isn't what I want to do or what is meant for me in the books? Or have you always known you're going to do it either way?
I think people have to change what their end vision is for a lot of this stuff. Like if your end vision to play music or to make movies is just to be famous or to be a millionaire, then yes, you're going to be frustrated. You'll probably be disappointed. Most people are. But if you treat it like the way people play basketball or play sports, baseball, football, whatever, and you just enjoy it, then you have nothing to prove. You want to be the best basketball player you want to be for yourself, or you want to be the best musician you want to be for yourself. But that's kind of it. You just want to have fun and enjoy yourself. If people think of it like that, then I think most people will end up just doing whatever they want to do for the rest of their lives, and just keep on getting better at it. And if success comes with that, whether it's attention from people or monetary success, then that's just an awesome byproduct of you loving what you're doing.
Definitely. I definitely hear that. So, again, thank you, Chris, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the talent around us. And I guess until next episode, I'll see you guys.